So for my project, I did Arduino, and which includes coding. So I'm just going to be showing you the code. So essentially what this code here is doing is it's declaring how the arrow will scroll and just declaring kind of the button stuff. So the comments will help state that. So here is declaring what the what pin or what like port, I guess you could say, the button is attached to, and this is where the LED is attached to. Here it's kind of declaring how and what time the arrow will scroll. This here is it's counts for the button presses, and here it's setting up the servo and making the servo timer 0, and this is just declaring a smiley face. So for this part right here is declaring the pin for these are the LED 1 and LED 2. This is declaring for the first LEDs in pin 7, and it's declaring that as an output. And this one's the second LED pin, and it's declaring the pin is 10, and it's also an output. And here the servo, it is attaching the servo, and it's writing to pin 8 and making it high, so you could read here essentially. But this here makes the LED pin an output, and this creates a smiley face which was this code here. And this writes also on, so it begins at 16.2, which is where the cursor will be, and it will print on the LCD screen push to start, and it will write that, and then it writes to the servo, and then it makes the timer, or the servo timer equals 0. And then if you look down here, this is to it makes it so the servo, or the scrolling is based on like the timer. And so here's the code in full. So essentially here is where it's calculating the scrolling, and so it's basing it on the timer of it, the system. And then here's the button code, so it's telling it to read the button state, so if it's pressed or not pressed. Okay, and so here it's comparing the button state, which it's checking up here to the last button state, so if it was pressed or not pressed, it's comparing it to the button state at this point. And if it's saying here if the button state is high, then the button will go from on, or off to on, and which it will say here, which this is declaring. It's pretty much saying if the number of button pushes is this, servo time add the milliseconds to 2000, and then the servo will write. And if it isn't, it just tells the serial to go off and just delay so it doesn't mess up the code. And this here, it's saying if the last button state was equal to the button state now, then it will execute this code here. And this part here is saying if the servo timer is greater than 0 and the milliseconds is greater than the servo timer, then it will print servo to 10, which makes the servo go to 10 degrees, and it will make the servo timer go back to 0. And this here just makes flashing the LED 1 and 2 just flash. So this here checks, so if I push the button twice, when I first start the code, the button LED should be on. I press it once and it turns off, and the next time I press it, it will turn on. This is what the code's doing here. And this is just clearing the bottom row of the LCD and sending the cursor into this coordinate here and printing it so it's clear. And this right here is saying how to make the LED flash, and so it's turning on the LED here at high voltage, and it's delaying it, and it turns the LED off, and then it waits. And this is the same code in this, except a different pin, as you can tell here. And that was my project.